It's Tuesday. We're here.
Yo.
We're here for NBA. It's Taco Ball Tuesday.
Taco Ball Tuesday. Bucks in six. Bucks in six.
Oh, whatever happened to
whoa.
Poor guy.
It looks as though I am joined by more than just my colleague, Justin Ogden. Who do we got here? I need an introduction.
I'm the youngest of the Ogden clan. I'm Jason.
I'm Jared, number 4, live in Philly, Sixers fan.
That's what I need. I need your basketball allegiance and your favorite menu item at Taco Bell. Let's go.
We could do player and team as well.
I'll do. So growing up in China, I didn't really have a team association, but I remember he had a Spurs jersey. So I kind of linked to the Spurs from a young age. But they're pretty boring to watch. So I love the Warriors. You can call me a bandwagon fan, whatever. But I think they just play the most fun basketball when they're on. Steph's my favorite player for sure. Just no one. Yeah. Go ahead. And
can we stop the recording? We need to start over. This was a mistake.
No, Steph is without a doubt the most entertaining player in the league to watch when he's on with those Warriors. Favorite Taco Bell item? I don't think it's an item, but every time I go to Taco Bell, there's a new $5 combo meal that just blows my mind every time. So the
box lover.
Yeah. Box lover. Yes, box lover.
Checking all the boxes.
Absolutely.
So what you would say is that you're also a bandwagon fan with Taco Bell, the newest and latest and greatest championship box.
I'll tell a quick little fun story, but when we would fly back into the U.S. from China, the first thing we would do, we would land in Detroit, and I would sprint to the Taco Bell in that airport.
Good times.
Taco Bell, that's got to be the only good thing in Detroit.
Probably.
I'd say
Pistons.
As a Sixers fan, I'd love to see Matisse. Young player, defensive player. Love to see it. Not a huge fan of a lot of the other Sixers players, so hopefully Matisse grows.
Not a Ben Simmons fan?
Definitely not a
Dude,
Ben Simmons fan.
I know you got a Simmons jersey. Come on now.
I do. I do have a Simmons jersey, but I may burn it soon.
Uh-oh.
How are you going to feel when, in order to trade Ben Simmons, the Sixers have to throw in Tybal to get a team to take him and make the salaries work?
It'll be necessary but worth it. I would say goodbye to Matisse to get rid of Ben Simmons. Get rid of Ben at all costs.
Two all-NBA defensive players gone.
We will never win a championship with Ben Simmons on our roster ever.
Let's be honest. You're just never going to win a championship, but that's okay.
Favorite Taco Bell item, cheesy gordita crunch.
Oh yes,
I'm classic. It's goat. It's the goat.
Have you ever subbed a Cool Ranch shell into the cheesy gordita crunch?
Ooh. I have not, but you've opened my eyes, and I'll do immediately.
A whole new world of possibilities. Yeah, sub out the regular shell for a Cool Ranch shell, or if we get a friggin' comeback in the NBA Finals, a fiery Doritos Locos.
I would do that. I'll do that, and I'll eat it on the next airing of this podcast.
Oh.
All right. Well.
The bell now.
Yeah.
Shoot. Missed opportunity.
Yeah. We got to get some before the game starts.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of which, we do have a game tonight. Want to do a little recap of games 4 and 5?
Yeah. Let's hit on Let's start with game 4. Justin, for me, this was the first close game. We actually had a close game in the series. No comeback.
What we were waiting for.
Yeah.
The best chance at a comeback game, but it was tied at half.
Yeah. I mean, it's just criminal that we're not going to end up with free tacos. We had 9 lead changes, 11 different times the game was tied. And to me, the stars were shining on both sides. We had Booker dropping 40. I think he ended up with 42. Chris Middleton dropping around the same. But this came down to the
Duchess.
At the end. The Duchess of Milwaukee.
Closed things out.
Chris Middleton showing up.
He closed things out. He was on total fire. So I think we know the main highlights and points of what happened. We'll talk to them briefly, but I really want to get down to the fact that last week we sat here and I said the Suns are up 2-1. but it feels like Milwaukee is in control of the series. And you laughed in my face. Well, maybe not, but you didn't really agree with me. So
it's because this whole concept of
the tide had totally turned.
No, it had.
And it had. And now here we are on the other side. The tide has crushed them.
Yes, but the reason why the series has shifted is not because of momentum. Momentum is complete BS. It's this narrative like, oh, there's so much momentum going from game 1, game 2, blah, blah, blah. Momentum is not what led the Bucks to win game 4 and game 5. Like,
I didn't say anything about momentum. I just said after game 3, the Bucks were in control of the series. Whether it's due to momentum or the fact that they're just better than the Suns, I'll leave that up for debate. But we are where we are.
So looking back now, what would you have attributed it to then? Like the Bucks taking control and closing out game 4.
They are the better team. They're more physical. They're more dominant. All of a sudden, the Suns don't know how to rebound. They don't play defense. And a guy who I was lambasted for saying wasn't some great champion of all champions, all right, out there in the internets, all right, had the worst game of his career in game 4. Devin Booker went off for 42. We talked last week about if Devin Booker goes for a crazy number 40, does Chris Paul also have to go for a crazy number? And I said no, but he can't have the worst game of his playoff career in the same game. He needed to get you that 18 or 19 points, all right, but instead he had
10 points and like
I know 2 of them were with like 0 seconds on the clock on a last second layup, which up until that point, he had more turnovers and fouls than he had points. So he played awful, horrible.
I mean,
he wasn't a whole lot better in the next game, but nobody was a whole lot better in the next game. The only guy who showed up in game 5 for them was Booker. Ayton started out well, and then all of a sudden he got lost. So I just think I'm not willing to give Budenholzer any props. I think they could win the championship, which I think they will win the championship, and he should still be fired. But that's obviously not going to happen. But Holiday has unlocked something.
Yes.
Him and Middleton, the way that they switch off and on with Booker and CP3. So Booker started going off and Holiday switched over to CP3 to ensure that Chris Paul couldn't also hurt them. Because I think we saw this in the Lakers series when Booker's shot is on, literally everything that leaves his hand is going in the basket. I mean, we've seen it in back-to-back games in this series. We saw it previously. That's something that I was talking about is the inconsistency where he was up and down in the first 3 games and then has just lit the world on fire in the last 2, but has been let down by his teammates. So I think there's a lot of factors contributing. Is Devin Booker going to get any help tonight? Can they feature more DeAndre Ayton? Is he getting worn out by Giannis? We saw foul trouble that really hurt him in game 3. So
one more comment, Justin, and then I'll take back for a question as we close up the chapter here on game 4. I felt like game 4 was the first time the Bucks offense was not all on the shoulders of Giannis. I felt like in the games leading up to that, it was clear that he was the first option and he was shooting well. He was scoring well, but he was gassed. He was completely spent. He was, turning the ball over, looking a bit reckless at times in those first few games. And for me in game 4, it looked like there were stretches, especially in the first quarter, right out of the gate, where they said Chris Middleton is going to be our primary scorer of this game. And I think, we'll come back to Drew Holiday as we talk about, as we preview game 6, but it felt like the Bucks were playing with more confidence because it wasn't Giannis versus the world, which is what game 1 and game 2 felt like. So my question for you, Was that Giannis block at the end of game 4 best finals block of all time?
Well, because I know how our avid followers love how much I talk about the 2016 Cavs 3-1 comeback. Obviously, clearly, it's not the greatest finals block of all time. All right. It is probably second. All right. Because you think about the magnitude of what happened in that game. They either go down 3-1 and, well, I mean, if Giannis is taking over, they could come back from that, but it's a much steeper challenge, and where most people are saying the series is over. So they were down. Let's see, the Bucks were up 2 when that happened. LeBron's block in 2016 came in a tie game in a game 7 with under 2 minutes to play. So I think the significance and the magnitude of that block was far greater than this one. This in a game 4, he doesn't make it, and it's a tie game going back the other way. But he does. They still have the lead. But to be able to be playing defense on CP3 and to be able to spin and turn and recover to make that block is something maybe only one other person has the skill set to do, because he was doing it against a center, a 7-footer in Ayton, right? So you have to have the size, the length, and the quickness. And so maybe the only other guy in the league that could turn that quickly and has the length would be Anthony Davis. All right. And I know people are like, oh, well, he met him at the rim. It's a greater block because DeAndre Ayton's a center and Andre Iguodala is only 6'8". Well, LeBron's only 6'8". Giannis is – so, like, the size is comparable. It's not like LeBron swatted a guy who was 6'2", like a guard, all right? So size is comparable, but I think his block also carried more magnitude.
Yeah.
All right.
I think everything you said there's right. And we're the war.
That's what he wants to hear.
Yeah, baby.
I mean,
this guy could come on all the time.
Went back and forth so many years. Was that what happened after that year in the finals in terms of the Warriors roster? Because I'm thinking, like, what was the greater impact of, like, okay, the Cavs win that game, they win that series. What did the Warriors roster do after? Is that when they picked up KD, or was KD already in there?
No, that's when Draymond Green immediately went to the parking lot in tears and called one of his least favorite people, Kevin Durant, to come and save him from the embarrassment of having to lose in the finals. So
they enlisted the help of Satan and the snake.
Well, I think that
Snake D.
That goes to show, though, like, you know, that had more of an impact. Like, that loss for the Warriors shifts the way the NBA shifts, because KD, if they win that, do you think KD's going over to play with them? I don't think so.
No, I don't think they're calling him. I don't think they're recruiting him or asking him to come play.
Whereas this, you know, this is maybe because it's not a game 7 or not a game on the line, but they win that game, but there's still another opportunity of redemption. Whereas if Iguodala hits that layup, that's probably that game.
Yeah.
Probably
they're
over.
Down 2. No one had been able to score for like a 4 or 5 minute stretch in that game. It felt like an eternity. So there you have it. Another play from the 2016 Cavs championship game that is one of the greatest of all times and can't be knocked down a peg.
Spoken from the Homer Cleveland fan. That's game 4. Game 4 in the books. Game 5, I'm going to set the table, Justin, then I'll let you share any other insights you got. So for me, game 5, super slow start from the Bucks. I mean, I thought that this was going to be like finally, the Suns punch back, and I thought it was going to be a Suns blowout. But the Bucks claw their way back into the game after being down 16 to start the second quarter. They go up by 3 at halftime. They build a lead. We've got all 3 guys for the Bucks, the big 3 firing on all cylinders. I feel like the most complete game from Drew, from Chris, and Giannis. And then lo and behold, the final 2 minutes for the Bucks appears to be sheer chaos. At one point where the Suns down 2, when we've got that absolutely bonkers sequence that ends up with the Drew Holiday steal. No. Yeah, it was Drew Holiday steal to the Giannis alley-oop.
Fiefdom. Robbery. Bamboozled. Hoodwinked.
And when that happened, you said that was probably the dumbest thing that Drew Holiday could have done on that play, lobbing it up to Giannis. So walk me through it. Walk our viewers through that chain of events.
So many things can go wrong. So they're up, 1 point at the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He gets the steal. There's 16 seconds left. He's in a breakaway with Giannis, and then the only defender back is Chris Paul. So I understand the mismatch that they had on offense, but all you have to do is dribble into the corner and dribble out the clock, because everybody was at the other end deep playing offense. You got that steal. Booker's laying on the ground. All right. So you dribble a timeout, and then you, Drew Holiday, one of the best free throw shooters, takes your free throws, and you're up 3. All right. So that's, I don't know, what I would think would be the smart play to make. Instead, he throws up a lob that, 1, could have been off target.
Mm-hmm.
2, maybe Giannis's hyperextended knee doesn't launch him into the stratosphere and buckles on him. 3, maybe Giannis just fumbles the pass. All right. 4, maybe Chris Paul ends his career by taking a dirty cheap shot like he always does. All right. So so many things could have gone wrong, but didn't. So you just feel like the basketball gods, destiny has come to set this moment in time. I mean, we'll see tonight, game 6, when it's all said and done. But so many things had to go right. And then he gets fouled after making it, and he gets a chance to make it a 4-point game, and he bricks the free throw, but they get the offensive rebound. And it goes out to Chris Middleton. He gets fouled and only goes 1 for 2. So they end up clinching it out. But so many things in the final 16 seconds had to go exactly the way that they went. Otherwise, you're thinking, what did you do? You just had a chance to dribble it out, take a couple free throws, and then play the back and forth. But it all worked out in the end.
2 words that capture what was going through Drew Holiday's mind for me: supreme confidence. That man put the ball, an absolute dime, maybe a better pass than the Jay Crowder inbounds to DeAndre Ayton. He puts it right where only Giannis could slam that home. And he says, let's finish this.
I don't know about that.
Style.
Remember, Giannis is being defended by Chris Paul. So he literally could have put it anywhere, and Chris Paul wasn't going to be able to jump and get it. But let's just,
I mean, when he dunked it, he was if you look
behind
at
the backboard.
Yeah, his hands are there. His arms are 17 feet long. So that doesn't say much, but he's under the backboard. And then the mean mug right to the camera after is just the cherry on top. But, I think, did you guys see how every starter in that game shot above 50%?
Yeah, that's outrageous. So this is, leads me to my key point from game 5. Maybe not a key point, just a key stat that I want to throw out there. So Suns, big 3, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, combined 81 points, 16 rebounds, and 15 assists. And you think, your big 3 gets you 80 plus points. Come on, you got to win, right? Not so fast, my friends. The Bucks, big 3, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 88 points combined, 20 rebounds, and 24 assists. What? That's insane. And just like you said, all the starters for both teams were above 50%. And we're talking about how great, the Bucks are a tough defensive team. And you're all these people are just shooting the lights out. I mean, shooting in the NBA is just off the charts. There are so many talented shooters that it's just insane to think about this many people being this good at scoring the basketball.
I think what was crazy to me, sorry, one more point. I think Drew Holiday was like the MVP of that game by a landslide. There were so many plays on where some Bucks player shoots it and misses, and he grabs a rebound over like Aiden, or like pokes it away and makes some crazy play. And even though he had a good game stat wise, but it's not going to come up in the same way that someone else will. Like he was just a pest and made the Suns unable to do what they would have wanted to do over and over and over and over.
2 huge steals on Booker.
Yeah. Reminiscent of Kawhi Leonard games in the past.
So the one thing I want to add,
Yes.
maybe the counterbalance to the stars were out in game 5. I'm a big fan of plus minus. And here's the plus minus of the benches.
We're talking analytics, baby.
The bench players for the Phoenix Suns cumulatively plus minus -30. All 3 of them. Plus minus for the Bucks bench. Teague did not play well. Connaughton, Portis,
Teague was an embarrassment.
Diakite, all of them
Speak the
together,
truth.
+8. You have +8 compared to -30. And all of that is the first quarter comeback. That's most of where that came from. But I think the stars being out and all of them shooting as well as they did and just churning out those stats is a huge thread. But I think you can't get that result without that massive bench element of both the Phoenix Suns bench collapsing and then the Bucks bench actually coming through to keep them in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads me to believe that not a single player should exit the Suns bench in game 6 tonight. And the 5 starters should go
Ride them out. 48 minutes.
Every minute. Until you foul out, you're on the court. Suck it up.
So I'm glad, Jared, you brought up the contributing the role players for the Bucks, because I think they had a huge impact. I took a look at, shout out to NBA.com's game notes to see exactly, again, putting on my investigative goggles here, glasses. I wanted to go back and see who for the Bucks was on the floor when they kicked off that run to tie it up after being down 16. So this squad was in for a full 6 minutes until Giannis and PJ Tucker came in. So we got our boy Drew Holiday, who has received many accolades, rightfully so, Brooke Lopez, Pat Connaughton, Chris Middleton, and Bobby Portis. Those 2 guys, like Pat and Bobby, those are my difference makers. I'm going to be keeping an eye on them tonight.
My man. All right. Game 6 tonight. Predictions.
Very soon. I think soon.
Chris Middleton is a weird way to pronounce Michael Jordan. I think that's what you meant to say there. But
it's a very strange way to pronounce the Duchess of Milwaukee, but I'll go with it.
Jared, you want to start with your prediction?
Did you see I got to find it. I'll have to retweet it out if I can find it again. But maybe I already retweeted it. The Chris Middleton mirroring Michael Jordan hype video where they found a video of him doing fadeaways and spinners and just losing people side by side, and they're just identical. And it's so hilarious that someone's I love it. The Duchess.
Yeah, that's why I made the joke, because I saw a bunch of meme posts about Middleton being.
I mean, this is just how deprived Bucks fan base is. 50 years without a championship. They're making these MJ comparisons. Oh my gosh, that's disrespectful.
I can start with
go for it.
My game 6 prediction. I think Bucks take it easily. I don't even think it's going to be close at the end. I think they're going to win by 10. I think they're going to just funnel shots through Booker and Paul. They're not deep enough to challenge the depth of the Bucks. I think Booker's going to have another 40-point game, but no one's going to help him out. The Bucks have figured out how to beat the Suns, and unless Chris Paul can actually break his playoff woes, which I don't think he can, because past performance does tend to shed a light on.
But he's the winner of all winners. He's elevates everybody everywhere he goes, and is just a winner.
A convenient narrative to explain who playoff was.
A veteran leader.
Bucks by 10. Bench doesn't stop Booker. Booker gets 40, but Giannis gets his champ.
My man.
Right. Jason.
Um,
What you got?
I think the Suns are going to win the series, but I think they're gonna yeah. I think they won those 2 games, and then Booker was on vacation mode with Kendall Jenner, just checked out. I think
Ben Simmons. Did somebody say Ben Simmons? That's a funny way to say Ben Simmons.
I think Booker and Paul are gonna combine for like 70 points. They're gonna win this game by more than 5 points, I think, and then they're gonna take it home. And a close one, but Game 7 is not gonna be a. Yeah, I think they're coming in. Chris Paul didn't make it all the way to the finals after all these years, just to lose to. I don't like. Have you seen the video of Chris Middleton with like a fish next to him side by side? That's what they're going to do. Yeah.
That's it. That's all for your.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Suns are actually on and use their brains a little bit more than they did last game, this series should be over. So, because I agree with you, the Milwaukee coach doesn't know what he's doing. He's literally just.
No, he doesn't.
Just sitting there.
He seems really clueless, but
Hey,
here we are, 1 win away from.
Wilkins, who knows what he's doing, has not won the last 3 games.
Not been able to pull the right strings or make any adjustments. But I guess when your bench is minus 30, it's hard to make adjustments.
Yes.
With that. Frank Kaminsky maybe needs to debut and get some heavy minutes.
Get some more Cameron Payne out there. So Justin, I'll round out here the couch picks, and then we'll pass it over to you. I'm very divided. My head says Bucks and my heart says Suns. So I'm going with my heart tonight. I'm going with the team that is playing with more desperation. The Bucks are going to be playing, to me. Bucks are playing with supreme confidence, but I think the Suns will gut this one out to keep the series alive and force the Bucks on one last plane ride for a game. So I'm going Suns tonight. I would like to see. I think it's going to be high scoring, like similar to what we saw in Game 5. I think teams are going to be shooting well. I think Chris Paul is going to pull deep from his bag of tricks and do what he needs to do.
He's going to injure 6
bring
players.
The win home. Who knows what we're going to see, but I'm all in for it. Suns win tonight, but Bucks win the series.
Well,
Suns win tonight, Bucks.
My man, flip-flopping. I'm here for it. I think tonight we get the perfect storm. We get what all fans deserve, and that is a comeback win.
Comeback win, baby!
So
from the Suns.
What's really important here is not who wins tonight. It's that tonight we are getting free Dorito Locos tacos. The fiery taco is coming back. All right. So with that being said, that means that the Suns will be leading at halftime and are going to lose. All right. So Suns lead at halftime. All right. They come out strong. It's close at halftime. It's probably within 5 points. Suns are up, and the Bucks find a way to grind one out. And we see Giannis, a 2-time MVP, a 5-time All-NBA, a Defensive Player of the Year at age 26, get his first title 1 year prior to LeBron, and will be the top dog heading into the next season of the NBA, and presumably for the next several years, because that's what a run like he's had can do for him. And I think he has the first legitimate chance, and he has the first legitimate claim to the best player on the face of the earth. So I'm taking Giannis. I'm taking the Bucks tonight. And I'm taking a free taco because we're getting that comeback.
Oh,
I have one more
Can't
point
wait.
that I thought of tying
Can't
back
wait.
to the last game I wanted to bring up. Bridges and Chris Paul were both 100% from three. They were 6 and 6 combined from the 3-point line. And I just thought that was interesting because I remember looking at the stats like towards the last couple of minutes, wondering who they were going to try and get the ball to. And just that, like, you have two players who haven't missed. And obviously, 3 shots each, that's not a huge sample size. So, take that with a grain of salt. But at the same time, like, I don't know. And, that's where Drew Holiday, he strips it away. It's not, maybe they were trying to get it to them. But I just thought that was fascinating how both those guys were shooting 100% from 3 and couldn't do it.
I think my problem with the Suns, what plagued the Suns down the stretch is they weren't creating enough off of fast breaks and in transition to get more of those open threes.
Yeah.
Like they were, and I don't think they were just shooting enough. They settled for a lot of mid-range jumpers that Booker can nail at a really, really high clip, but they've got to get more open threes to win a game.
One point we did miss is that because they lost, we give them no credit, but they were down 14 points in the fourth quarter and came back.
they did.
To what? Like tie the game. So they were at least within 2. I think they ended up tying it at one point, but yeah, I mean, they erased a huge deficit. There was a big chunk of time where Milwaukee couldn't get a stop or a basket. So yeah, the games are close, could go either way, but looking forward to game
Well, we're rooting
6
for the
tonight.
Great finals. Yeah.
We got a game
Yes.
to watch, Justin. I appreciate you joining us here in Florida, joining all of the Ogden brothers on the couch for another episode
Yes.
of Taco Ball Tuesday.
For Justin, Jason, Jared, and Justin. Yo quiero taco ball, baby.
Taco Ball. See ya.